Okay, just getting everything set up here. I'm a couple minutes early. All right, so now we got the chat window over here. Let's see. We'll see if we like that or not. Okay, it says that we're streaming, so good deal. 7:58, I'm 2 minutes early, but I wanted to get everything set up because I wanted to try something a little different here. I've got the chat window up in my main screen, so I'm not sure if that's going to be annoying to anyone. All right, we'll slide that right there. Trying new things with OBS. Kind of fun, right? All right, we've got one concurrent viewer, so good morning, and thanks for stopping in early since I decided to start this 2 minutes early. So over the weekend, I've been playing a little more with OBS as well as a couple other things, and getting some ideas for how you can do different things on OBS for live streams. So I'll be playing with that more, and I always like people's input on this. So if this layout is starting to look too busy, just let me know. I'm going to step away from this for 1 sec and just close the door a little more. All right, that should be good. Now we've got 2 concurrent people, and it's 7:59, so I guess we can get started here in just a moment. And there we go, 8 o'clock, so we're on time. Well, we were actually early. So as always, everybody, welcome to the channel. Thanks for stopping by for a few. My name is Rich Charpentier, and I'm the channel host, and normally we do a lot of drone talk and imaging and 360 panos and whatever strikes my fancy for the week. And we're going to start this off with a public service announcement to everyone who pops on here. When you're doing 3 different things at a time and you're getting stuff ready for your live stream, double check yourself for typos while you're in Photoshop, because otherwise you look like a really silly person like me. Terrain aware, hey, that word is not flights. So there we go. I'm picking on myself for the moment. So over the last week, I've been dealing with a lot of terrain-aware flight setups and putting together some new tutorials for one of my clients. And I think we've got the draft version of the tutorial pretty much put away, so it's looking good. And by the way, I'm just going to put something in this chat window to see if that pops up and works and if people see that or not. So I just did a hi there. So anyways, yeah, last week I spent a lot of time dealing with more tutorial work. So the Ground Station Pro class is wrapped up and live. I'm probably going to be adding one new video segment based on a comment from one of the early adopters. So we've gotten some great feedback on it, and I'm pretty excited about it because there aren't many classes out there about Ground Station Pro. So there's almost nothing about Ground Station Pro. As a matter of fact, doing a search this morning, I was just trying to answer a question for myself regarding terrain aware and if it was ever coming for Ground Station Pro. So I did a Google search this morning, Ground Station Pro terrain aware. And the first thing is from DJI. And the second thing, videos, we've got Drone Harmony for terrain aware. And then we have this live stream. So, and I put up the live stream announcement a day and a half ago, I think. And it's listed at the top of the Google search for Ground Station Pro Terrain Aware. I guess there's not much conversation about that out there on the internet, is there? For something that I just literally put up a day and a half ago. So I found that one interesting, that there's not a lot about it. So for those of you joining in, hey, Jerry, how are you doing? And Ray, I can recommend a book. Let me see, spooling for beginners. Yeah, that's... I looked at the label today and had to make fun of myself for doing that terrain aware flights. Pretty sad stuff. So yeah, last week and over the weekend, I've been spending a lot of time on Drone Harmony. In addition to my channel and my classes, I'm also helping them out with some of their tutorial videos. It's a great crew of folks, and they are evolving their applications this year. So they're bringing a lot of new stuff to market. And one of the new things that I've been working on for them is a video on setting up for terrain aware flying. And then this is going to tie into some other things too. So let's go ahead and stop making fun of myself by looking at my typo there. So let's close that one down. And I'm still laughing at your comment, Ray. But let's go over here. And so my brain has just been wired to terrain-aware flights lately. So I just wanted to pull up the Drone Harmony site here really quick. So over the weekend, I've been doing more and more with this. And if you go look at their website now, they do have their terrain-aware announced. So I didn't want to say anything about it on channel here until they started getting their information up on their site. So they're going through an evolution right now. So, if you're an Android user and you're interested in the features, you can do a trial with them, and you can also, sign up with them. So, not selling anybody, I just always bring the different ones to your attention, and then it's up to the viewers here as to their level of interest or not. So one of the interesting things with Drone Harmony now is that you can actually get digital elevation model data sets. So if you're interested in terrain-aware flight and you would like a data set without flying an area on your own, they're working with Airbus now. So this is kind of interesting. You can upload your own terrain files, which is what I was doing last week, practicing some of that so that I could do a nice seamless video on it. You can import terrain data from Airbus. When you import the terrain data, your minimum area is 1 square kilometer. And depending on which services you choose to get from Drone Harmony, you'll get different allowances each month for your terrain data. Then you can load your terrain area and you can manage your terrains. So while I was doing some of the video work for them, I tried out the import terrain from Airbus. So this grayed out area is 1 square kilometer. And then I did a little flight area in here. What's really interesting, so you can look at the 2D, you can look at your 3D scene as well, and we can see that area that I wanted to use for part of the terrain aware. You can see the drop-offs in here because it's rocky formations next to a lake. So the area down here is the lake area. And finally, you can actually look at the overall digital elevation model. This will probably take a moment because it's big. So I just picked a smaller area for the demo flight information. So pretty cool. And you can actually zoom into here and see the lay of the land. So if you don't have your own digital elevation models at hand for a particular area that you're working, you can get digital elevation model data right from Drone Harmony's website. So that's pretty cool. And let me go to the site storage here. Actually, let's just clear everything. So I've spent a lot of time on that. Once again, not an endorsement or selling for them on my channel. I do like to show you the type of work that I'm up to. So this is part of the work that I've been doing. And okay, the state is empty. Let's go back to the 2D map area. Good deal. So I'm just going to load a different area, and it's the Granite Dells, because I actually did a flight that was concurrent with another flight that I was doing for one of my courses. So I did a flight to generate a digital elevation model. So I used the Mavic 2 Pro to fly an area, and then I could set up a digital elevation model, which is really cool. So let's go down to that. So using the drone and flying it, and then utilizing Metashape to export a digital elevation model, I was able to get this model. Now you've seen this, if you've been on here in the past couple weeks, you've seen the actual final product of this little 3D modeling area. And, you know, this is some major terrain changes. So I could go out and fly this area, gather that elevation modeling information, and then take that digital elevation model, put it into Drone Harmony, so my own self-generated elevation model, and then I can plan my flights based on that. So here we go into the 3D scene, and this gives you a really good idea. Yeah, the digital elevation model worked, and my flight path is changing elevations as it goes along the path. So wrong one here. Let me go back to that view type and let's take a look at that 2D map. What I'm going to do is click into the 2D map as if I was editing it. Now we're going to zoom in here. And so you can see we've got 51 meters, 49 meters, 50 meters, 48 meters. So it's all dependent on the lay of the land. And Drone Harmony got the lay of the land from the flight that I did and then uploaded. So this has been very interesting as I've been working through their new services and their new offerings. It's got me pretty excited to go redo another flight with the terrain aware data. And if that's something that folks on channel are interested in here, let me know. Okay, so what do the dots represent? So each of these dots is a waypoint. So these are the waypoints as your drone is flying. These are the waypoints the drone is going to. So like I'm pointing here at 48 and the drone is going to be flying north. So it will be snapping its photo at 48 meters. And then as it moves up to the 50, it's going to be adjusting its elevation to 50 meters and getting that next shot for the terrain aware there. And then we've got a steep change right here. Whoop. And I just moved the dot. By the way, you can actually go in and edit individual waypoints if you need to. But so I can go in, pick a waypoint, adjust it. So maybe I didn't get it exactly right. So I can go back through there and actually make those adjustments. So yeah, and we've got, 39 meters over here. So the lay of the land is, very varied. Let's go back to that digital elevation model for a sec, and we can actually look at the elevation model itself. So we can definitely see, let's rotate this, shall we? So we can definitely see all of these terrain features in here. And those terrain features were uploaded to Drone Harmony with an elevation model that I exported from Metashape. So, so yeah, you can set up for your own digital elevation models, or you can use that Airbus data that they're offering, whichever works better for you and your job applications. But so I've had a lot of fun toying around with test models. It's been more than just over the weekend, but over the weekend I was assembling a lot of the video for them for the tutorials. So if you're interested in this, if you pop over to their website and look under their tutorials, the new one's not up yet, but when it's up, I'll let you know. But if you check over there at Drone Harmony's website, you'll see their tutorial area and some other videos that I've done for them already. And so all of this terrain aware stuff, let me go ahead and log myself out. So all of this terrain aware stuff got me thinking, because I actually got excited about other drones last week. Anyone who's familiar with this channel knows that I don't get super excited about the newest and latest drone. I'm interested in what works with my business and what new drones can do for my business. So let's go ahead and we can close this one. And the next thing that I wanted to talk about was, so, we all know about the Skydio X2, the crash-proof drone, even though there were some accidents with it for people testing them. The Skydio X2 got my attention, but didn't fully get my attention. It seemed more a little gimmicky to me, not trying to pick on it. Definitely, does Drone Harmony require a lot of processing power? Well, Ray, Drone Harmony is cloud-based, so when you're bringing like the terrain models over to their site, it's not processing power intensive on you. So Drone Harmony is used to capture your images for creating models. So Drone Harmony has some interesting ways. They've got a lot of different types of flight plans for orbiting structures, for flying over structures. It's a very powerful flight application. You're not going to be processing the images in Drone Harmony. You're collecting all of your images utilizing Drone Harmony. So their newest feature for the terrain aware is to help you get flights that are consistent and yield better data for when you start doing the 3D modeling itself. So they're just giving you more and more tools for capturing the data you need when you're in the field. So that's what they're all about. But once you're done with your flights with Drone Harmony, you're going to be offloading your data and you're going to be uploading to a Pix4D or Drone Deployer. You're going to be using Metashape, or you're going to be using Maps Made Easy. So It's not a process intensive thing, and it is an Android only application for when you're in the field. But they also have their web-based version, which is where you can access that terrain aware. So you go in and you create a flight path, and maybe it's terrain aware, and then you go out and fly that, capture all those images. When you get back from the field, you're going to be loading that to your favorite 3D modeling software. But you can do a lot of your flight setup on their web-based application, and that's where all of the new terrain stuff goes. So when you set up your terrain-aware flight, once you're done setting it up, you save it. When you turn your Android on, you can sync your Android with the cloud, and then you'll get that terrain-aware flight so that you can go out and do the flight. So I hope that answers that one. And what I was saying before, so Skydio actually got me excited last week, or maybe even a little earlier than that, with some of their new announcements. And as I've been working on my 3D modeling and my terrain aware work for Drone Harmony, I saw these videos and I said, wow, Skydio is now interesting to me in my business. So why is Skydio interesting to me in my drone business now? I'm just checking the screen over here really quick, make sure where we're at. By the way, so is that chat window weird on the side for any of you? If it is, let me know, because I want to know if I'm doing better things or annoying things, because I don't want to do the annoying things. But all right, so why is this interesting to me? Well, number one, let's just take a look. And this is something I never usually do either. Like I don't review videos or anything or other people's stuff. But Skydio caught me with a couple of videos. So number one, there's the Skydio X2. And, I reserved comment on it. The one fantastic thing about it, the Skydio X2, was that tracking technology. And I know for a lot of folks who are mountain bikers or, quad racers or whatever, that looked really interesting. But, for the business application, I didn't see too much. And this introduction of the Skydio X2, I want to see this. I wish I had a bigger channel so that Skydio would reach out and say, hey, Rich, we want you to test this drone out, because this is really looking interesting to me. Where they're going with this. Now, one of the biggest things that I've always had concerns with other drones, and I don't have a problem with any other drones. I'm not a DJI fanboy. Whatever works is what I want to be using. If it makes my job easier and it helps me bring more impressive information to my clients, I'm totally on board. And now with this new announcement, the X2, I think this is something I really want to get my hands on. And not just because of that flashy little video. Let's go back here. So there's two other videos that I've seen recently. And the first one I'm going to go to is that Skydio house scan. So we talk a lot about modeling here, two-dimensional models and three-dimensional models, setting up flight paths with things like Ground Station Pro or Map Pilot or Drone Harmony, collecting that data. Chat window looks fine to me. Cool. Thanks, Jerry. So we talk a lot about how we collect the data, because flying around the home, we want to get the facades around the home. We want to get the top of the home. We want to be able to put this into a 2D or 3D model. And we're flying around obstacles. Now, the data collection app that really gets it right, I got to say, is Drone Harmony, because they offer multiple flight models for flying facades, for flying top down. They've got a lot of very interesting tools to help you work around complicated job sites. So that's why I got interested in what Drone Harmony is doing. And, to a lesser extent, we can do some good things with Ground Station Pro and with Map Pilot, but we're still needing to supplement, because those applications are usually flying top down, or you put a little tilt in the gimbal. But how good of a job are we doing on the facades? When we're done flying the big mission, do we have to hang around that property and do some orbits around it too to fill in the data that we missed, that we didn't capture well? Probably. So Drone Harmony, with their facade capture features, that's one of the things that got me interested with them in complicated infrastructures where we're, very close building to building. We need something that's really going to help us dial things in so that we're not hitting obstructions or anything. We're not damaging our drone, and we're not damaging property. And what got my attention, so when Skydio X2 first came out, I said, wow, The obstacle avoidance, this is very interesting, and I could see some possibilities for working complicated sites, but I didn't think the Skydio 2 was there yet. And also, there's not a bunch of software developers out there. They're building their own stuff right now. But when we talk about all these applications, when we talk about ground station, when we talk about drone deploy or Pix4D, a lot of these applications are being built with DJI in mind because they have the market dominance right now. Is Map Pilot making something for Skydio? Is Ground Station Pro making something for Skydio? No, that's a DJI product. Is Pix4D doing something for Skydio? Is Drone Deploy doing something for Skydio? When you look at the landscape, the bulk of the tools are made for DJI products. So my other concern when new drones come out is, this isn't going to add to my job yet. Because those third-party developers haven't gotten their hands on the SDKs, that's software developer kits. So, those capture application companies need to sell to a market that's going to buy something from them. And if you're a drone manufacturer who's making drones that aren't in everybody's hands right now, is it worth that developer's time to develop for your specific drone too? Probably not. It's very expensive. Software development is extremely expensive. But so here's where Skydio got me excited when I saw this video. When I'm flying complicated infrastructure, I have to pay attention to everything around me and the tightness between buildings and the trees and all these other things. And then with the announcement of the Skydio X2, we get this new Skydio house scan. This is exciting. This is really exciting. By the way, Skydio, if you're watching, I'd love to test this out. I'd love to test the X2 out because now you're getting into a market space that I'm very interested in and that I'm already doing. So they're sitting here saying you map out the home, okay? And then we're looking to get that consistent information. So look at this. So it is doing the flight around the home. It is sticking to the requested modeling area. I guess that this is their own internal software. So for people doing roofing, for people doing solar installations, for me, this is just a beginning moment for them. So this is the introduction of some new features. There could be additional new features where we're thinking about larger sites, where we're thinking about those construction sites, where we're thinking about plotting out areas that might be flat ground right now, but might yield a 3, 4, 5-story building in there. And I've got this feeling that now Skydio is starting to market to at least my interests and the interests of other people who are seriously working on developing their drone businesses and having an interest in construction space and real estate space. So I got to stop that and rewind that there really quick because this just got me. So we've got the drone flying around these blocks. So these are the areas that it's going to be shooting to make your final models. And you could easily make a 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional model from this. But this is looking like we're going to get all of the data that we've always wanted in what could be an easier and safer flight. So that's the other part. I don't want to damage my drone on site. So it's moving around its obstacles here in their demo. And, it's working around that rooftop and it's working around the obstacles on that rooftop. And if you didn't see that last word there, because I say that here a lot when we're talking about flights with Litchi, flights with ground station. I'm going to be doing another video on Map Pilot really soon. Here we go. Expect a long wait before you get your hands on an X2 if Skydio can't meet the S2 demands. You're right. This would be great to generate existing layouts and architecture, which is my area of interest. Exactly. See, this is, one of the problems that I've run up against for a couple of clients over the past year and a half is proximity to other buildings. Getting the drone into areas where I can get the facades of the building that I'm working on, but I've got a building really close here. If you haven't watched any of my other videos on channel, I live in Prescott, Arizona, and we're going through a construction boom right now. There's new houses popping up everywhere. There's all these new communities coming up. The houses are really close together. So it's not like when I was back in New England and I had 5.5 acres and didn't see my neighbor. Um, the houses here are really, really close together. And so you don't have a lot of room to get the drone in, get down, get that side of the house without running up against a cinder block wall right to the next person's house. So they've got an 8-foot buffer to this cinder block wall, and then you got an 8-foot buffer from your wall to your house. And then you call me up and say, we need to do some flights around here. As a matter of fact, just the other week, we did some flights for a rooftop inspection for a client whose roof was not properly installed. They had a new roof go in, and there was actually a lot of damaged area. So they used our flights to show the roofing company to get them to redo it. And while we were there, we also made sure that we created repeatable flight paths. So when everything's fixed, we get to go back. But looking at what's happening with this, I mean, so there's that again. You know, this is just a short intro video from them, right? But this site scan, in my mind, is just the beginning. If they can do this rooftop and site scan for a house, it's only a matter of time before it's expanded into those more complicated flight areas. So this video got me incredibly excited. And like I said, anyone who's been around with this channel for a bit, or you go take a look back, I had very limited comments on the Skydio, not because I had anything against it or anything, because it didn't seem like it was going to fit with my business needs. Seeing this house scan says to me that Skydio is looking ahead, and what they're up to might be fitting in. So we've got this introduction of the new Skydio X2. Super exciting, very interesting looking drone. Now we have this Skydio house scan, and then I want to follow up with this other one. So they put out a lot of new information recently, introducing Skydio 3D scan. So this is also catching my attention because of the construction sites that we've done and future construction sites. So they're working around this beam bridge. Number one, that makes me nervous already. I did see a Skydio 2 video where there was a flight in one of these bridges, and the pilot did crash it. But I don't think that it was the safest flight ever. It was them getting out and testing it out, and maybe being a little too over-enthused, right? But looking at this 3D scan, so Ray, you said, layouts and architecture, which is your area of interest. I can tell that this is still coming together, that, how easy is it to use to document such a complicated, build site. Just the fact that they're working toward this, and they're doing this with the Skydio 2 as well. So this is their for fun drone. So if they're developing these new features for the for fun drone, what's going to be in that X2? So that X2's really got my attention, and I'm going to be following this one close. So I'll be doing updates here. And like I said, I usually don't do drone reviews or anything. I tell you the equipment that I'm using and the types of jobs that I'm doing. But I've never been a review channel, and there's a lot of great review channels out there, so I don't feel the need to be a review channel. But Skydio puts this out, and I'm like, I'll be a review channel for this, because this could really benefit the types of jobs that I'm doing. And 2 of my construction sites have already let me know one of them is fully completed, and they've let me know that I'm very welcome to come back with notice if I want to do other construction site testing and utilize their structures for upcoming classes. So these 3 videos just scream to me that, we might have some more options soon. For all the people who are down on DJI because they're dominating the market, way back when I actually studied economics at the graduate level, and I get supply and demand and all those things. And, right now, the tools available, the easiest to access tools that are available are for DJI products. This is the first time that I've seen a new drone product that is really looking to enter that construction market and developing some unique stuff that we're not seeing with other app developers or with other drone developers, they're showing us something new, something incredibly new, and something that could save our time on site when we're doing, let's say I go in to do the time lapse and the progression reports, and also start heavily selling the clients on the 3D modeling capabilities, and have a drone that could work that complicated infrastructure to give me incredibly accurate renderings and also speed up my workflow. So I have specific workflows for every site. If I had something that I told, here's your general area, you go ahead and work around that now, and it actually generates usable data for me for two-dimensional and three-dimensional modeling, sign me up. I'm on board with that. So this was, this just got me super excited to see the new possibilities. This is what I've been waiting for with any other drone companies coming to the marketplace, is a way for us to work super complex infrastructure. And because I have had other opportunities that I have turned down as well. One particular build site, I did not have the time to start it. I was already working on other things. This was last year. I had a contact. They were doing a major restoration of a building in the Phoenix area. And let me tell you, the infrastructure around that building was also nightmarish. So as I was looking at it, before I found out when they wanted the project to start, as I was looking at it, I said, wow, this is going to take a lot of pre-setup and a lot of missions in Ground Station Pro or in Map Pilot or with Litchi as well. It would have been a combination of applications to work that area. So let's see, this should save a lot of time producing what's already, yeah, that's exactly it, Ray. That's why this has gotten my attention. And my thought is, if they're already announcing this, I don't see that it's going to be a big leap to, let's say, start working from a new build site, put in the flight areas where you know the buildings are going, because you're going to go in and walk that construction site. You're probably going to meet up with a foreman or somebody else who's on the construction job. You can mark out those areas where those buildings are going up, and then you could have the Skydio work around it as it's building. I can see this as a simple extension to what they're showing us here, but we're going to have to wait a little bit more. They're saying the X2 is fourth quarter of 2020. So we all know with the developers and everything that, it's probably not going to be the fourth quarter of 2020. It'll probably be somewhere in 2021. And that's not me picking on Skydio. So Skydio people, not picking on you. I'm just talking about the reality of what we all know. The software development process takes time. There are glitches. There's beta testing. And by the time it finally comes to market, it should be a nice, clean product, right? So I would rather them take their time getting this to market, and let's see, I'm just reading Ray's comment here, but yeah, I think there's a lot of possibilities. I'll be staying tuned to this. If we see more information on this, I'll be letting you know. And, if you're a Skydio user or you're a fan of this channel, drop Skydio a note and say, we'd really like to have you let Rich get it in his hands because he wants to go fly a construction site with this. So there we go. In other news, so there is my big one today. In other news, we'll take a commercial break for a second since the channel is not, sponsored by anybody. Wanted to give you a reminder that the newest class on Ground Station Pro for flying construction sites and other things is online. I do have a coupon code down at the bottom, the show notes in this video. And it goes along with a lot of my other classes as well. So it's at udemy.com/user/Richard L. Charpentier with dashes. Or you can just go onto Udemy and type in Ground Station Pro. I'm the first one that comes up because nobody else has put together a video on Ground Station Pro. We've already gotten some really great responses. Thanks everybody for trying the class out. Thanks for the responses. I'm going to be building one more video in response to one student's question because they had an awesome question that I kind of went too quickly over. So I'm going to make one new video in the 2D and 3D modeling area to answer that question. I've already answered his question privately on Udemy. Also, in addition to that new class, we still have the Agisoft's Metashape for doing 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional model rendering. So that's the software that you put all of your images into, and then it makes your models for you. We have the drone construction progression example. Also down in the show notes, there are coupon codes for all of these for you. And so that's the highest rated right now. I appreciate that, Udemy. We've got our drone 3D modeling for beginners. That's just a starter one. If you're already on this channel, you probably already know a good bit about 3D modeling, so you probably don't need the class. Then we have a simple drone photography and image editing with Lightroom and more. Not one of the most popular classes. There's a million photo editing classes out there, so I was doing this specifically for brand new people. We've got the Litchi Waypoint missions for your business. And so here's what I have to say. The Ground Station Pro class that we just launched, the Litchi class, and let's see here. So Ground Station Pro, Litchi, and the construction progression example. These three classes kind of really go together. So if you're if you're interested in the drone construction progression reporting, or modeling sites, or working with construction companies, that drone construction progression example is a great one for you. And it goes hand in hand also with the Litchi Waypoint missions. And actually, some of the material from the Litchi Waypoint missions spills over into that construction progression class, and some of the stuff from the construction progression class spills over into that Litchi class. And now with the Ground Station Pro class, you have one more flight application available to you for when you're doing these types of sites. So there we go. There was my plug for that. I hope that wasn't too long. And the next place I want to go to is, so we're also having a little fun. We're still in the world of this stupid pandemic. It's still getting in the way of all of us leading our normal lives. And it's been getting to be a long thing at this point, right? And hopefully we're going to get it resolved, and we're still working around it. So in the meantime, we've been doing other projects on the side. I would like to hook my Airstream up right now and take a trip up to Cortez, Colorado to visit with friends. I'm not going to do that. The numbers here in Arizona are pretty bad. So we're sticking where we are for the moment. We're trying to give ourselves other things to do. So we've got our client jobs that we're doing, and there's still other things to do. Jody has been laid off from her job for months now. And so we've resurrected this exploreprescott.org website. I started building this years ago with a friend, and it was just to do some search engine optimization demonstrations. He and I were working together on just seeing, hey, could we pop up ahead of the Chamber of Commerce and things, here and there. And so we've decided to bring this one back to life because we want people. Thanks, China. Yeah. It'll be over at some point, I hope. But so anyways, we decided to bring this one back because we noticed that a lot of people were actually stopping by this test website, couple thousand a month, looking up the granite dells and things. So people planning future trips. So we've started doing our 3D virtual tour, or our 360 virtual tours in here, some videos and some other things. So I've got a couple of plans over the next few weeks. I'm just going to say stay tuned. You'll see. But Jody has been doing a lot of work on this to get a little more attention to it. So we're adding in more locations. We're adding in more virtual tours. And so that's Jody's big project. So if you want to see what Jody's up to, some of the new things that she's doing, oh my. And I've also been testing out Google's AdSense on this. And I do not like the Google AdSense popping up like this. So I'll go do some modifications afterward. So my apologies for that. We'll get that fixed really quick. I want the Google AdSense ads to be further down the pages. But so normally this is where you would land first on the Visit Prescott virtually. And we've got some new content here. And we've got the RV camping in the Granite Dells, Pointer Rocks Campground. So we did that both with drones and with the Canon 7D and a Nodal Ninja 360 bracket. We did the virtual tour of Whiskey Row. We've still got some things to add in there. It was a bad time of day for some of the shots that we got in there. Then we've got the whole Courthouse Plaza, the virtual tour of Watson Lake, which is 100% drone work right now. So that was with the Mavic 2 Pro. And then using DJI's Go 4 app to make those 360s. And then the historic Prescott Courthouse Square. We've got two versions of that because one weekend we went down and they had one of their, what do you call it? Had one of their events on the square. So oftentimes there are events on the square. So just waiting for this. There we go. I used Theasis because I was doing some testing, but you can see all the event booth setups. And the other one that Jody has done, the newer one, doesn't have all the event booths. It just shows you a typical weekday on the courthouse square. And so we will be going through and hitting all of the main blocks down here. So we've got Cortez, we've got Gurley. Yeah, I'm blanking on names right now. And no, I'm not as sleepy as I was last week, I promise. Last week I was falling asleep by the end of this. But so we're putting more and more of these together to, for the people who can't get up here right now and are trying to play it safe, at least you can look around on here, get a feel for the area. We also have outdoor recreation, so we've got links to those, and then the location. So the number one page that gets hit on this website all the time is the Granite Dells page. So everyone seems to know the name of the Granite Dells. So old video from years ago from mountain biking along the Peavine Trail. And then we've added additional links in. We've got the Watson Lake virtual tour in here. So whatever pages people stumble across, they're going to be able to find some of that information pretty quickly. So yeah, if you want to see more things about the Prescott area, all the awesome recreation, pop by Explore Prescott on a regular basis because new stuff is going up there every week. And I know that she's been doing a couple other things. She's also got a sponsors link for some of our clients that we work with here in Prescott. And so we're giving them a little plug as well because it never hurts to help out your clients. And they all have cool businesses anyways. So there you go. So that's everything that's been going on here. So I'm waiting for a response and approval for the latest terrain aware flights that I did on behalf of Drone Harmony. And once they get back to me, I'll do my final edits for them. And over on the Patreon channel, I will be getting the rough draft up there because I always like getting feedback from my patrons regarding some of the tutorials I do. I usually get some pretty good information back from them letting me know, hey, could you put this in there too? Because I didn't know about that. So not only is the Patreon channel helping to support this channel, they're also kind of the beta testers for some of these things, and some of their ideas and concepts make it into the classes and the posts and the videos that I do. So my patrons are super helpful. I really appreciate all of you. And thanks for being part of the channel. Sorry, my throat is getting dry. This is Arizona. So hold on one sec. There we go. In addition to just being a dry state, we have another fire in close proximity to us, head over toward Camp Verde. We've got a lot of smoke in the air right now. It's incredibly dry here. So last week, all of this also kicked off another sinus infection for me. I seem to have them every summer past 3 years. Seems to correlate with the super dry climate that we have right now. And so I would really like to see some monsoons pretty soon. We'll see what happens with that, but hopefully we'll see the monsoons in the near future because that always leaves me feeling a lot better. And before we go, so you've probably already seen this one, but this is the virtual tour above Watson Lake Park in the Granite Dells, which is the #1 thing that people search on this website. And you can take a nice little tour through it. You can also watch a cool little video. I am building some new videos and some new B-roll, but once again, working around weather, working around smoke-filled skies. Hey, that's part of any kind of photography, right? All right, so taking a look back over here. So that is basically my wrap up for today's live stream. And like I said, so it was a first for me because I do not usually, review other videos or do drone reviews, but I am super excited about the direction that Skydio seems to be going in. So we're all going to have to wait and see because, like I said, they were saying last quarter of 2020. So I'm thinking more like spring of 2021. But who knows? They might be at the ready. They might have, used all this downtime for development. So who knows what we're going to see. But once they have something new about it, if there's content that's meaningful, we'll talk through it at that point in time. And oh, look at that. I got a notification from the DJI store, best drones in 2020. Okay, close that. Well, that was a weird pop-up, and I had the email off today so that we didn't get beeped or buzzed or anything. As always, I want to thank you for stopping in, supporting the channel. If you're new to the channel, be sure to go down below, like and subscribe. And if you really like the channel and want to support it, you can always go over to Patreon, and I've got the little, it's not a link, but www.patreon.com in the lower right corner of this presentation. And it's patreon.com/richcharpentier. So if you'd like to be a supporter of the channel, I totally welcome that and appreciate that. And if you can't do it, that's okay too. That doesn't mean I'm going to exclude you from videos that we regularly do on YouTube or anything. So there we go. All right, everyone, have a great start to the week. I'm going to go have a bunch more water here and get the day started. It's 8:44 a.m. here in Arizona. So still early in the morning. I've got a lot more work to do today. I hope you have a fun and safe week, and at the latest, we'll see you again next Monday, but you never know what else will catch my interest and end up on another live stream here somewhere in the middle of the week. So until then, we'll see you later. End the stream.